Welcome back. So this is part 2. As if you were watching the last video, then you're aware that my grandmother called me, and so I interrupted my video in order to answer her call. She wanted to wish me a good trip with my kids. We're going on a cruise to the Cayman Islands, and that's super fun and exciting. I'm not gonna give you the details, all right? I'll give you the details when we get back, because I don't know any yet. All right, so like a research paper, you want to get all of the information, and then you can form your own opinion, right? You can't just take the information that we get from one select group and be like, that's the opinion. That's how we got ourselves into so much trouble in this country, I think. Political, just subscribing to one portion of the political sector could get us into trouble. You have to listen to everybody and form your own opinion, right? So anyway, that's my little digression on politics. Step 2, select a venue. Get your selected audience to come and give you feedback. Why? Because the end result of this particular part in this venture is to get feedback so that you can take the feedback as a business professional, not an emotional creature who is an artist. I know that you are that. I know that I am that, and that is very difficult. Rejection is the name of our game. You will be rejected more often than you will be accepted. Every single actor on the planet has that experience, even if they're making millions of dollars. They reject things now if they're making millions of dollars, but they also get rejected. If you're one of those multi-million-dollar actors, you are probably being looked at between 4 other actors similar to what you deliver, and one of you is the only one that's going to get selected, which means even as a multi-million-dollar actor, you're being rejected. Okay, so get used to that part up front. Back to the solo show. Now, a piece of this puzzle also includes making sure that this piece is in your voice. What does that mean, Chrissy? What does it mean that this piece is in my voice? What if somebody else writes it can't possibly be in my voice? Well, that's where you do your work up front. When I was putting together my one-woman show, I knew that I could not write this thing myself. I did not have it in me back then. I am currently writing a one-woman show right now that I do have in me. And that's because it took me years of practice and reading and watching and understanding what it is that I wanted to put out next. These things take years, decades. If you listen to Bonnie Gillespie talk about this business, especially if you are an actor who is wanting to make a living acting anywhere, i.e. in a non-market, you know that you are in it for the long haul, which means you could very well be working a day job or a bar job or a temp job while you get all of this stuff together. And then maybe for 6 months you'll be making a living acting anywhere because you're touring the country with your one-person show or you're performing it at a venue. But what this particular piece of making sure it's in your voice means is that the writer you select, perhaps you've seen their work and you've sat in the audience and thought, oh, I could play that role. Because you know that the words they're speaking would come out of your mouth honestly and naturally and organically. So that's what I mean by in your voice. So start thinking back on all of the plays and things that you've seen and writing down a list of those writers if you don't know somebody already who you're going to do this with. This is part of that puzzle, okay? You want to select somebody who's going to write the piece in your voice so that it seems organic. It puts you in the best light. Am I saying that it should be in your voice and that means that you can't play characters? Absolutely not. When I was doing the one-woman show, The Stupid Economy, I selected Robert Lynn because I had seen a couple of his pieces and I knew that I could play the roles in his shows. And so to me, that meant he would speak my language. I would be able to read his words and make sense of them. They would feel organic. They would sound organic then. They would sound natural. They would feel like something that I would say. I played 7 characters in that show. They were dramatically different people and dramatic different characters. But even in the character, it felt natural for me to speak his words. That is what I mean by making sure that the piece is in your voice. And the way that you find out if it's in your voice when you are asking your audience is by asking them if the piece sounded natural. And a lot of audiences will tell you up front without that question being written down. By the way, if you are watching this video, you might want to be writing down these questions for your audience. If you're taking notes, and I recommend you do, then you write down these questions. If you want to have a document to take with you, or to refer back to you, or to put a box next to the bolded titles, go to my Medium blog and print out this article. You can put little check marks next to it, and that'll help you kind of you can select this to be your questions at your reading. Okay? The second piece is it may or may not actually work in what you're trying to do, but you want to make sure that your jokes are landing. And conversely, that the statements you're making are landing. So you may not have any funny pieces. This may not be funny at all. So conversely, if you are trying to land emotional responses that are sad or angry, you want to judge whether or not those things are happening. You want to be able to get a good grasp on whether or not that is what's landing for the selected audience that you brought to this reading. And the way that the pre-work to that is that you show up to that reading and read it well enough, even though you're reading from the script, that you read it well enough that you're polished enough to garner whether or not those pieces are landing the way that you are intending. So what do I mean? If you are not a good cold reader, if you have read the script one time and you can show up and read the script and it well performed and you're landing jokes properly, then you're a good cold reader. Okay, you know that about yourself. If you're not, I recommend you do a lot of readings of this out loud before you perform it at the reading level. And the reason is because doing a first reading that isn't relatively production standard, even though you're reading it, will not help you achieve what you're trying to achieve, which is getting feedback that will help you take the piece and make it production level value based on the information that you receive back. It should be almost production level when you get to this point. I live in a town where people will wait 10 minutes even though it's their turn to go, and it drives me crazy. It was that person's turn, and they sat there for another 15 seconds waiting to make sure I wasn't going. I wasn't going, or else I'd be going. Okay, anyway, I digress. If you need to do a read through on your own several times so that you are at just about production value when you read it, you're going to benefit far better. Ooh, sunshine. The second part of that is that the feedback you receive on whether or not something landed. You know what? As a side note, I probably have to go back and write this into my Medium blog. Is that you want to maybe bring somebody with you who's a great typer, who has a laptop or a tablet with or that you can record. Maybe I recommend recording this session, recording yourself if you can watch that without emotion. But most importantly, recording the sound. So making sure somebody's there, making sure that the sound is being recorded so that you can take the feedback that you're getting and make use of it. And here's why. You may get feedback from people who are offended by your material. Or you may get feedback from people who think that you should rewrite it this way. You're going to get feedback from people, and a lot of it you may not use. You don't have to use feedback that you receive, by the way. I can tell you that I play a character named LaMonica Johnson in The Stupid Economy, and it is never stated what color she is, but she is definitely inner city, okay? And I play that character as an inner city woman. The audience made the decision to believe that she was a black woman with 5 children. As a matter of fact, here's what the audience believed. The audience believed that she was a big, fat black woman from the inner city with 5 children. And some of those may have even been her grandchildren, because she's so wise. She's probably the most wise character in the show. The audience made that choice to believe that. It is not written into the script. My portrayal of her is from my childhood. It came out of me organically from my childhood. and maybe the way that I speak her led everybody to that conclusion. Maybe the playwright wrote her that way, but it doesn't mean anything until I put it in my body and deliver it to the audience. So one of the pieces of feedback we got from that was the discomfort from a local white director, an artistic director who I absolutely adore and respect and admire. And I agreed with her. She said, I just don't feel comfortable thinking you should not be playing a black woman on stage. And the reason that came out was because of blackface and taking roles from all of the racist bullshit that this country has continuously embarked on. And we chose to leave the character in it because she's the character that delivers the moral statements. She delivers the moral statement. She's the best character in the show. She's my favorite person in the show. But whether or not she is black is up to the audience to decide. So what I'm saying to you is, you're going to get feedback that's probably really right. But you are a creator, an artist. It is your decision to decide what you do with that feedback. If you are doing a solo show to make a living acting anywhere, then the feedback that you receive is going to help you determine the final steps for your final rewrites. Because the idea is not perfection, it is done. Get it up on stage. If you are interested in getting more personalized help with this, go on over to ChrissyHogueBartels.com/make-a-living-acting anywhere. And actually, it's a living acting anywhere, separated by dashes, not slashes, but dashes. And book my time. Right now, through January, even though it says that I get paid for those hours, I'm doing a special where I'm giving away my time and knowledge to anyone who asks me for it. I'm doing personalized plans with only 5 people in January, and there are only 3 spots left. But there are, and I just rolled this out yesterday, so I'm sorry if you watch this way beyond that time frame. But if you need a more personalized attention, please reach out to me. There are a lot of you out there who just simply can't afford personalized attention at the level that I'm getting paid to do it. Reach out to me anyway, okay? It doesn't mean that I'm not going to help you. I will. Okay, and then if your end result of your one-person show is about showcasing your talent so that you can land that right now, yes, sir, this is the agent that I want and need. Excuse me. Or you really want this specific casting director or a group of casting directors or a producer of films that you want to be in to come and see your best showcased talent, then again, you definitely want to have this reading so that you can put this showcase together so that it best spotlights and showcases your talents. We love the sun, but it's probably hard on you in this video. Okay, you guys, I think that's about it. Please comment or find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Chrissy Hogue Bartels, and ask me any questions that you want. I love questions because it helps me put material out there that is a benefit to you. I love to answer questions because trust me, if you're having that question, then everybody's having that same question. Until next time, if you are here because you're on step 2, don't do anything else. Stop consuming. Just do it. Just stop the video at this point because I'm not going to deliver any more great information, and gets to step in. Start this part of that journey. If you haven't gotten to step 2, go back to step 1. Go find it. It is a step-by-step process. If you prefer to listen because you're driving, or you're commuting, or you're in the shower, or whatever the case may be, listen to my podcast. This information is all the same. So you go to my podcast at Make a Living Anywhere. Chrissy Hogue Bartels podcast, Make a Living Anywhere Acting. Make a living acting anywhere. Holy macaroni. Make a Living Acting Anywhere podcast, okay? And listen, I'm going to be giving you all of the same information across all platforms. I hope that you just stop and do. Listening, reading, all of that's great stuff for you, but you just have to do it. If you want to see my one-woman show and you haven't had the opportunity to do that, I have a great copy of it that was filmed by MediaCom. So there are several different angles, and it has great sound most of the time. You can do that by going to my website, chrissyhoguebartels.com/one-woman show. Or one-person show, maybe it is. At any rate, go to chrissyhoguebartels.com and select one-person show, one-woman show, whatever the tab is. It'll take you to the page, and you can watch my one-woman show, The Stupid Economy, written for me by Robert Lynn, from front to back. And if you have any questions, like I said, reach out, comment, let me know about it so that I can help you. And that's what I want to do now. I just wants to help you peoples. All right, signing off now. Please have a beautiful day, and don't forget, you can make a living acting anywhere. All you have to do is do.